Kali Training Journal, day 211. Kali Striking Energies, Broken, Fluid, and Circular. Be sure that you listen all the way through this video because you're going to hear the three biggest takeaways I had about my Kali practice today, specifically working with these three different striking energies. Typically, when you see me practicing my Kali strikes, you're seeing the fluid energy. This is a strike that starts on one side of the body and carries over and rechambers on the opposite side of the body, preparing for the next strike. When you begin your Kali training, you're going to typically learn strikes 1 and 2 first to really get a good feel for those. And then you'll move on to strikes 3 and 4. There are additional striking angles within the Kali training system, but these are the most basic. The fluid strikes teach a constant revolution between angles 1 through 4. And as you move up in your Kali practice and experience, you begin to add additional strikes. I believe the most beneficial thing about learning the fluid striking energy is that it continues and it's easy to move to the next strike, whatever that strike may be, whether it's a horizontal, vertical, thrusting motion. Whatever the strike is, the fluid energy is very smooth and it's easy to transition between striking angles. Next up, we have the broken striking pattern. This is the next or the second striking energy that I learned in my Kali practice and training. These strikes typically come to the center of the body and then retract to the same side they started on. Now, sometimes they come back to the same position or same chamber that they started in, but these strikes can also move to another chamber. So, for example, if I started in chamber 1, my broken strike might go to a chamber 3 to end the strike. There are other types of broken patterns and energies that you may work with as you progress through your Kali training. Sometimes these look like a V, but I don't believe those are actually the broken striking energy. It's a little bit different, and that's above where my training is right now. And then the last one that I learned is the circular energy. Now, the circular strikes are really interesting in the respect that they typically will start and end in the same position. These strikes can be really fun. They're also a little bit tricky. And as you watch me perform these circular energy strikes, you'll see that it takes a little bit different skill to make sure that you're not coming and hitting yourself. Usually I will hit my hat or my head when I'm practicing these strikes, and sometimes my shoulders. So they take a little bit different skill, a little bit more advanced skill than just a beginner, but these can also be very effective. I have had opponents use these circular strikes on me in their thrusting movements or angles of their strikes. And these can be really, really challenging to overcome. If you think about fencing and think about how in fencing they sometimes move the tip of the blade, or I forgot exactly what it's called, but they'll move the tip of their weapon in a circular, and it makes it a little bit harder for the opponent to be able to reach or tag their body. This is a really good example of understanding what a circular strike might look like, or a circular energy might look like in combat or in the thrusting motion. Now, there's something really powerful that I took away from my practice today. Besides just really drilling and getting a good feel for these three different striking energies and really trying to refine and understand how they feel and how they move, in the most basic patterns. I didn't even add in horizontal strikes or thrusting into my practice today. But the most powerful takeaways that I had was this. Fluid strikes can represent having or going with the flow of your life. Sometimes as things get difficult, it's hard to move past something. So let's think about a river for just a moment. And if you think about the river has rocks and obstacles in it. But water just flows. It continues to flow whether there's a rock or a person or an obstacle in the way, unless the entire width of the river is dammed up, the water continues to flow. This is a really good example of how to allow yourself to flow through life versus getting stuck. Broken is the next one that I learned something from. A broken angle or a broken energy in your life could be applied to breaking up your routine or breaking up what's familiar. This could also be called or reframed as a pattern interrupt. We often get stuck in these routines of life, and then we forget that there's joy and there's excitement to be experienced in life. We just get stuck in our way and stuck in our routines, and we just go with the motions without really consciously choosing and making decisions. We just go off of what worked yesterday. We get stuck in these traps, and then, this can create a lot of other complications or situations in life that may not allow us to really experience life to the fullest. The last one is the circular energy. Sometimes we have to come back to the beginning to really reframe, refocus, and evaluate where we are.